Say hello to Stickman, the ultimate biology sidekick. With his trusty smile and a knack for pointing out the basics, Stickman makes learning feel like a breeze. He's here to break down complex ideas into simple shapes and lines, always ready with a wink or a goofy gesture. Whether it's cells, DNA, or the mysteries of life, Stickman's got your back. Get ready for biology, explained in the friendliest, stickiest way possible. Biology is a big subject, and sometimes it feels like there are more facts to remember than there are cells in your body. But don't worry, there's a trick to making it much simpler. Instead of trying to memorize everything at once, focus on understanding the basic ideas first. Think of it like building with simple shapes. Once you know the basics, you can stack them together to make sense of the complex stuff. Even a stick figure can master biology if they take it one step at a time. So, let's break it down and keep things easy, just like drawing a straight line. Tackling a huge biology textbook can feel like climbing a mountain with flip-flops. But don't worry, there's a smarter way. Start by dividing the book into smaller sections, like chapters or even just a few pages at a time. Focus on one chunk each day and give yourself a high five when you finish. Use sticky notes or simple outlines to keep track of what you've covered. Before you know it, those intimidating pages will shrink down to something totally doable. Remember, even the biggest books are just a bunch of little pages hanging out together. Let's dive into the world of Stickman-style mind maps and diagrams, where even the most complicated biological processes become easy to understand. Imagine a stickman showing off the journey of a cell dividing, or waving arrows to highlight how energy flows through a food chain. With simple lines and expressive poses, these diagrams break down big ideas into bite-sized visuals. You don't need fancy details, just a stick figure, a few shapes, and some arrows to guide your thinking. Suddenly, photosynthesis isn't a mystery, and the circulatory system looks like a friendly roadmap. It's biology, simplified and a lot more fun, thanks to our Stickman hero. Let's talk about how to zero in on the key ideas. Imagine our Stickman friend surrounded by a jumble of arrows, all pointing in different directions. Instead of chasing every arrow, he pauses and looks for the biggest, boldest one. That's the main concept. By spotting the most important ideas, you can save your energy and avoid getting tangled up in the details. Focus where it counts, and you'll make learning a whole lot simpler, and maybe even a little more fun. Ever struggle to remember a complicated term or a confusing cycle? Here's a secret. Silly mnemonics and stories can make it much easier. Imagine our stickman trying to recall the water cycle. He might picture himself riding a cloud like a bicycle, or turning into a raindrop with a dramatic splash. By creating funny connections or memorable images, your brain has a much better chance of holding on to the information. The sillier the story, the stickier the memory. So, next time you're stuck, let your imagination run wild and invent a scene that makes you laugh. Suddenly, those tricky terms won't seem so impossible after all. Active recall is like giving your brain a workout. Start by quizzing yourself on the material, instead of just rereading notes. Think of it as a pop quiz you can't fail. Next, try drawing Stickman diagrams to visualize concepts. Even a simple stick figure can help you remember tricky ideas, and you don't need to be an artist. Just a few lines and circles will do. Finally, teach what you've learned to someone else, or even to your pet goldfish. Explaining things out loud helps you spot gaps in your understanding and makes the knowledge stick, pun intended. Spaced repetition is like giving your brain little reminders, just when it's about to forget something important, like the difference between mitosis and meiosis. Instead of cramming all your biology facts at once, you review them at intervals, which helps your memory stick around longer. Imagine our stickman friend happily juggling flashcards every few days, rather than drowning in a mountain of notes the night before the test. This method works because your brain loves a good challenge, and revisiting information at just the right time keeps it fresh. So, next time you're memorizing the parts of a cell, try spacing out your study sessions. You'll be surprised how much you remember, and how much less panicked you feel. Imagine opening your textbook and instead of yawning, you set a timer and race against the clock. Suddenly, reading becomes a challenge. Can you finish this chapter before time runs out? Each section you complete earns you a simple reward, like a victory dance or a doodled trophy. Stickman loves to keep score, marking progress with bold arrows and cheerful jumps. By turning reading into a playful competition, even the dullest pages start to feel like a quest. Who knew textbooks could be this much fun? Let's dive into the world of biology using our trusty stickman and a few clever arrows and lines. Imagine a stickman dropping a seed into the soil. An arrow points from his hand to the ground, showing the cause. Next, a sprouting plant pops up, with another arrow tracing the effect. Stickman's raised arms can signal surprise or excitement at the result. By connecting actions and outcomes with simple lines and expressive gestures, we can easily follow the chain of cause and effect. It's like building a story, one stick at a time, making complex biology concepts clear and even a little bit fun. Ever tried explaining biology to a friend, or maybe even your trusty pet rock? It might sound a bit silly, but teaching someone else is actually one of the quickest ways to understand a topic yourself. When you break down complex ideas into simple words, your brain has to work harder to organize and clarify the information. Plus, your friend, or your rock, might ask questions that make you think even deeper. If you can make a stick figure understand photosynthesis, you're definitely on the right track. So grab a buddy or a nearby inanimate object and start teaching. You'll be surprised at how much you learn in the process. Diagrams and labeling questions can look intimidating, but don't worry, Stickman's got your back. Start by scanning the diagram for any arrows, shapes, or labels that stand out. Use your finger, or pretend you're Stickman pointing with a very dramatic arm, to trace each part and match it to the question. If something looks confusing, break it down into smaller pieces, just like Stickman would divide a big squiggle into simple lines. Remember, labels are your clues. Follow them like Stickman follows a trail of breadcrumbs. And if you get stuck, take a deep breath and look for patterns. Sometimes the simplest answer is hiding in plain sight, waving at you with a stick hand. Staying motivated while studying can be tricky, but it doesn't have to be a marathon. Try breaking your study time into short, focused sessions. Think of them as quick sprints rather than long-distance runs. Set a clear goal for each session, like mastering a tricky concept or finishing a set of practice questions. Give yourself a little reward after each session, even if it's just a high five or a stretch break. Remember, it's all about quality, not quantity. With a sharp focus and a positive attitude, you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish in less time. And now, Stickman's top biology hacks that feel almost illegal. Ever tried holding your breath to stop hiccups? Or used cold water to wake up your sleepy brain? Stickman swears by chewing gum to help focus during boring lectures and standing on one foot to boost your balance. Remember, these tricks might feel sneaky, but they're all backed by science. Just promise Stickman you'll use your newfound powers for good, not for evil science experiments. Stay curious, stay kind, and keep those stick arms waving in victory.